When Kevin Durant signed for the Phoenix Suns, everybody knew they were now serious title contenders. Big changes were certain, but after their semi-final exit against the Denver Nuggets, changes have been called from within the team. The sacking of head coach Monty Williams was a mere indication of a series of bold moves to follow. The rebuilding process has begun, and the next person on the list is their veteran point guard, Chris Paul. Chris Paul still has 2 years left in his contract. He is still a fantastic player, but at 38, the point guard is closer to retirement than his prime. He suffered an injury during the playoffs in Game 2 and had to watch his team lose to the Nuggets from the sidelines. The worst part about this early exit for Chris was that many analysts and fans felt that the Suns were better off without him. Paul's full salary will be guaranteed on June 28 if he's not laid off. He is owed more than $30 million. The Suns must decide whether Paul is worth bringing back on such a rich deal and whether the team's current makeup fits his style. With Devin Booker and Kevin Durant already on the roster, the Suns have elite players at the most valuable positions in basketball, the wing. They need players who can play around these two superstars and complement their game well. A new head coach would likely alter the team's style to play more to Booker and Durant's strengths rather than Paul's pick-and-roll attack. But despite all this, some analysts and reporters believe that the Suns may still keep Chris Paul to maintain some leverage if they eventually trade him. It sends a message to the other teams that they don't have to trade him, so if anybody wants him, they will have to come and get him. What do you think? Is that a strategy that the Suns are likely to deploy? It's clear as daylight that the Suns sacrificed their squad depth to acquire Kevin Durant. For a team to increase their chances of winning the NBA, bench strength is just as important. So Suns have to do that this summer, and selling off big names like Chris Paul could bring in the funds to sign younger talents. The Suns are likely to spread out their spending across the roster in a more balanced way, considering how many solid, affordable point guards and centers there are in the NBA these days. One of the names rumored to be a possible replacement for Chris Paul is the Celtics point guard Malcolm Brogdon. It's a move that makes sense as Brogdon is still only 30. Also, he could cost less than when compared to Chris. Last season, the Celtics man averaged 14.9 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 3.7 assists per game. He is a player that doesn't demand as much of the ball as Chris Paul. Phoenix would benefit from more spacing and players able to consistently take down threes, and that's exactly what Brogdon brings to the table. Whether it be Chris Paul or anyone else, choosing the right point guard will be an extremely important decision, as it could potentially alter the championship's path in the future. Chris Paul is no longer the player he used to be. However, he can still play well and greatly contribute to the right team. So a game veteran like Chris needs a franchise where his contributions would be appreciated more. He is a true leader. What do you think the future holds for him? Who is the right candidate if Paul were to leave the Suns? Leave your thoughts in the comments.